The AllStar app, the #1 app in the business. UFC, Bellator, One Championship, PFL, and more. Get the app right now. Link in description. Mallory, Oktagon 36, you're gonna be back. This is actually the first women's fight to ever take place in Germany for the promotion. Does that mean anything to you?
Yeah, of course it means something to me. I think like being a part of history is always cool. And just being like the first women's fight out there, I think is like pretty dope to be a part of. Uh, so yeah, I think it's a big deal, but not nothing to overthink about.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
It's
Nothing to
cool to
overthink
be
about.
part of history, is what I think.
Of course, of course. Now you got this opponent. She's a Bellator vet. Katharina. She's 6-3. She's got the record 6-3. From what you've seen on tape and through the internet, what type of fighter is she in your eyes?
And so when I watch her fight, I think she's pretty well rounded. You know, she will grapple, she will wrestle, she will strike. She's, I would say, like a complete MMA fighter. Like she's not just trying to get it to the ground. She's not trying to keep it standing. You know, she will shoot. Um, there has been other fights that I watch where she will let like the person come up off the ground. So I don't think she's much of a grappler, but I would say she's like well rounded in all
Is
aspects of the sport.
For sure. Is there a different attitude when you go into fighting someone that's like all around fighter compared to like say someone that's just a striker or someone that's just a grappler?
I would say yes, because you'd have for if it's like just a grappler, then you have to like worry about the takedowns, right? If it's like a striker, then it just depends on like what kind of game you're playing, right? But for me, I feel like for this fight, specific, I can't talk specifically. I feel like I am able to just do my game plan. I was just saying if that makes sense.
Oh, for sure, for sure. You're flying across the world to Germany, going into enemy territory. Does that
Yeah.
environment bring something different out in fighters, you think?
Oh, 100%. I think I'm really excited for it. Like I'm really excited for I haven't fought in front of a like an audience since 2019.
Yeah.
So it's been a while, you know. So I'm excited to go into that enemy territory. I can't talk territory, and hear the crowd and hear everybody screaming. You know, so I'm pretty excited for it. I think it'll bring some madness out of me.
Yeah, for sure. Fighting in like these little isolated arenas without
Yeah,
crowds, what was that like for you?
you know, you can hear your coaches really well, so that was like the positive of it. But I feel like for a fighter kind of like me, I feed off of the crowd. I like to hear the crowd like roar when I do something great or whatever it may be, you know. So I feed off of it. And so fighting with like no crowd, the past like what my three the past three fights I've had,
Yeah.
I think I've had no crowd. It's all been at the Apex. So it's been a little bit different.
When you get into like firefights, right? Like stand-up battles,
Yeah.
and there is no crowd. It do you
Yeah.
feel anything? What was it like for you?
Man. No, no. Honestly, like in a fight, I don't feel anything. But I do feel like it was a really quiet. Like it felt like
Mhm.
I was in the training room and I was like sparring with one of my teammates and we were having like a really good sparring round. And like our coaches were both like going back and forth and we were going back and forth. That's what it kind of felt like, you know? Uh so yeah, I'm excited to hear the crowd. Even I think I'm only the second fight of the night, but they'll still probably be like decent people there.
Yeah, I think so. I think there will be a lot of people there from the start.
Yeah.
Sometimes with those shows, Octagon, they do put on crazy shows, so they do have a,
Yeah.
a pretty good
I've
fan base as well.
the main things that I've been hearing is like their fan base is absolutely the one of the best, and they like really like the fighters.
2021. Could you describe that year and the impact it had on your career?
2021,
Yeah.
man. I think I was in a different headspace. I'm really excited for this fight. I think the past, I would say 2 years, um, I don't feel like I was myself. And that translated into my fighting as well. I wasn't fighting the way I normally fought. And there was other things like mental things where, when you get an injury and then you're scared to injure yourself again. So you kind of like take the backseat in training and kind of like, not backseat, but you dial it back. And then when you go to fight camp, you can't dial it back. You have to dial it up. You have to go to that 6-8 gear. And I think I would say like the past 2 years, that kind of hindered me. I wasn't hitting that 8th gear, that 6th gear. I was staying in that like 2nd, 3rd gear. And so this camp has been like a lot of growth for me in the aspect of like getting to that 8th gear, that 9th gear, like pushing the pace, like getting out of my comfort zone. Basically, what it is comes down to.
Yeah, in your latest post on Instagram, I read it and I was like, fighters usually don't post things like that unless there was a significant change happening in their surroundings, maybe with some
Yeah.
habits. What exactly did, you change?
So I would say it was like about 5 weeks to a month ago. My coaches had a sit down talk with me, and I mean it sucked to hear that. Like they're basically kind of like, uh, you need to show us more. Like you need to put in more work. Like the sparring rounds, you're kind of just doing the bare minimum. You come into training and you're here, but it's like it's all I know. And I've been doing this for 10 years, so of course I'm gonna be here. I'm always gonna be here. But it's like the mindset and the attitude and like going into that dark spot, like getting to that dark spot, like getting out of your comfort zone. And so it sucked to have that talk, like for them to tell me that, like kind of like, Mallory, you're slacking off a bit. Not slacking off, but in a way, I'm not taking full advantage, if that makes sense. And
Like
so,
cruise control?
yeah,
You were in
yeah,
cruise control?
yes. And then I was just staying in cruise control. And so I would say the past like 5 weeks have been just trying to get to that really dark spot, try to get to that, like past my comfort zone and push myself. And yeah, man, I'm really excited. Like I'm really excited to go out there and fight with this mental that I have right now. I just feel like super confident and ready for war.
Throughout the last 5 weeks, have the attitude of your coaches changed towards you? You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Like, yeah, you probably feel
yeah.
it, right?
Well, it's like it sucked because I didn't know I was even doing that.
Mhm.
And for them to tell me like that, it like sucked to hear. And so like since then it's been a huge difference. Like every single one of my coaches have been like, it's been such a huge difference to watch you from just even 4 weeks ago. Like the person in training is a completely different person. I'm just trusting the process and everything's going to fall into place, really.
And you're only 28, like, do you even feel like you're even close to the prime of your career yet?
Oh, that's a good question. I do kind of feel like I am kind of close to it.
Okay.
I feel like, yeah, I'm not sure how long I'll fight either, like I kind of
Mhm.
give myself 4 to 5 more years, but that depends on if like kids come.
Mhm.
So I'm giving myself 4 years for sure, but I would say I'm getting into my prime.
There's a lot that can change
Yeah,
in
exactly.
4 years, even
Yeah.
in 2 years, you don't even know where you will be at in 2 years, you'll be who
Yeah.
knows, you know what I mean?
It's crazy, yeah. And time goes by so fast too, like 2 years is gonna go by super fast.
The last time you lost back to back, you had that fight in Invicta where you just smashed
Yeah.
your opponent, no one can
Yeah.
save like that analytic part of you came out in that fight, right? Do you feel like
Yeah.
that's the type of performance you wanna have in this one coming up?
100%. 100%. I do plan to take it to the ground and submit her or TKO. I want to get on top and I want to I want to bring back the old Mallory Martin with the ground and pound, the screaming, the yelling, the shit talk. Like I want to do that. I want it. I want to go to that spot. So I'm ready.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it. October 15th, Octagon 36. You're heading to Frankfurt, Germany, which is always fun. Mallory, always good to catch up with you. Thank you so much for the time and good luck on the fight.
Thank you. I appreciate it so much.